starting up in now. Hello, everybody. My name is Dane. This is an audio-only podcast of an old, about 2 year old video podcast I did called Ramble On, where if you remember the rules, basically what we do is we get a topic and we go about it. Usually it's a lot easier with more than just me. So today I've asked Tom from Tom Like a Fox Productions on YouTube to help me out, and we're going to talk about video games.
Awesome. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I know I'm a big radio DJ. I got a lot of swing on on the FM waves.
Oh yes.
Drinking my Popsy. It's like Pepsi except not copywritten.
Exactly. Yeah. Other brands are available.
It's Sam's Cola.
Lovely.
So the topic for today is kind of controversial, but not too much, because I'm trying to, as I told him earlier, we're just going to try and keep it light and fluffy, not deep down. It's basically saying, so there are companies like, it's actually a company sent me a game called Spacebound. I cannot remember the name of the company. I will put it in the video description, and it'll also be in the SoundCloud description. This is going up on SoundCloud, YouTube, and if I can get it on iTunes, it'll go on iTunes, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
So I'm going to put their name. They make games like Spacebound, which is a puzzle-style game, better with two people, but can be played with one person.
Yes.
It's kind of like a Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. If you ever played that on the Xbox Arcade, it works under the same principle, only you're bound by this rope, and it makes it kind of difficult as two people. Two people at once, because you have to think as two people at once. But
yeah, I do like those kind of games where there's active teamwork.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and that game is considered an art form, as most games are. Whereas games that come out, they're called a yearly game, like Madden or anything else. They have a specific asset, and they just raise how it looks in video in the game. They just raise how it looks. They make the graphics better because the processors work higher.
Sure.
Would you the basic question is that in your head a allowed to be called 100% art, or is the artists who are drawing it and rendering it, that's their art, but when it's being sold at such a multi-million-dollar level, can they get away with issues and problems, technical problems in the game, by calling it art? That's basically what it's saying.
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept and question about are video games art in general, you know? Because some people would say art is just creative expression. Anything you create, especially in a visual form, can be called art. But then other people say there has to be some kind of emotional response to it for it to be called art. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I guess on that premise alone, if you don't sort of research any further, just making nice assets in, say, for instance, like a sports video game would not necessarily be considered art.
Yeah, and
that
doesn't take away from the game at all. That's not, again,
no,
definitely not what we're trying
absolutely.
to say.
But the interesting thing is the game itself can still be considered art, especially a sports game, because of the emotional response you get from playing as your favorite team.
I mean, because that art can also be on, let's say, something that is now, like a picture of the Underground Railroad, the painting, or like a painting of Henry VIII, the lost painting of Henry VIII, or something like that. Where, like, let's say this is going to be me getting into sports nerddom. Where back in NHL 2009, NHL 9 or whatever, they had Steve Nash on the Columbus Blue Jackets. But current time when I played that, which was 2015, Steve Nash had been traded to the New York Rangers. So on that, what was then but is not is now, however convoluted that is. basically what was in the past that is not the present kind of thing. That's another art form that was actually brought up to me by a friend of mine when I talked to him about this a little bit ago.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it's just to say, like, so let's say you're playing FIFA and Cristiano Ronaldo from whatever team he's on, because I don't know soccer slash football very well.
Yeah.
He just like zooms off the screen, like just glitches out real hard, and that's a big tick because let's say he doesn't come back, you know, it just freezes your game up, and you tick it, and you're like, that's not fair. This game became kind of bad and boring and didn't work right. Someone's like, well, you have to deal with it because it's art. That's where I'm like, all right, there's a line that's drawn.
Okay, yeah, that's a really interesting idea because I don't think a glitch in the mechanics of a game can be explained as art. You know, so if you're playing a game, for instance, a race like a realistic car racing game, or one of the big sports franchises,
Mario
there is
Kart.
No, Mario Kart will give a pass. They can do whatever they want. But, you know, if you're playing Forza or you're playing FIFA or Madden or anything like that, there is an expectation on the part of the player that the game will be a realistic representation of the sport in real life.
Yeah.
You know? So if something glitches out and a player starts flying suddenly, well, that's a product not meeting the expectations that were promised at the beginning.
Yeah, that's a programming issue.
Yeah, for me, that there can absolutely no way be explained through art.
And games that are big, like big games like Oblivion and Skyrim especially, even Breath of the Wild had it. There's something called forced glitches in those games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That there's clipping or there's like a character that doesn't move right, but it's these small things you have to deal with to make the overall bigger game not take 30,000 years to load each screen, or else if they try to polish everything, you know, Skyrim, unless you had the beefiest monster computer ever, that thing's going to run at about 2 frames a second and you're going to get nothing done.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, those glitches in Skyrim, for instance, they lead to some fantastic speedruns, so we will let them off. Yeah. I love watching the speedruns where they know exactly where to glitch through the wall. Or
we found me and my friend used to play Oblivion. I mean, I've logged 4,000 or 5,000 hours into Oblivion on my old Xbox 360. It's actually the reason the first one I had broke. I played it so much, and so we found this glitch, and right after the Emperor's killed, you can glitch out a little bit and go like in the wall and kind of go to where you're supposed to go in the sewers, but you haven't opened the door yet, so the assets haven't loaded, so none of the doors are there, and none of the enemies are moving. They're just stuck, static. But the rest of the world is moving just fine. It's just that part. It was hilarious. Because we just used that. Emperor dies and you just like walk in a line upwards. I think they've patched it at this point.
Yeah, you'd hope so eventually.
Yeah. With it being able to be on the Xbox One, like, I think they can patch that.
Yeah, sure.
They still haven't patched half the glitches I find in Mass Effect. I play Mass Effect and I find the most hilarious of things happening. And the most frustrating. Some of the most frustrating things happening.
There's some crazy rubber banding going on.
That, and then there's on one of the space stations, or asteroid missions, I forget which one, there's supposed to be a point where it shakes, the asteroid place shakes a little bit to let you know, hey, like, shit's going crazy.
Yeah.
But my game just kept the shaking. It didn't stop.
Oh,
it
man.
Just kept, so I'm playing Infiltrator, so I'm trying to snipe. Well, if you ever played Mass Effect, the sniper's like going in like a big old circle.
Yeah,
that's hold it steady.
Nightmare.
It's such a nightmare. But it also made for my girlfriend laughing her ass off at me getting so frustrated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because usually when I play Mass Effect, she'll just sit on her phone and like hang out and talk to me. But she was red in the face laughing, and I'm like, what? She's like, it's funny. You're mad. It's funny.
Oh.
was an idea rolling around in there, and then it just kind of left. This is gonna sound odd. I love your accent. I really.
Oh, thanks. See, obviously for me, I don't think I have an accent.
You have very, like, what part of Britain are you from?
Like the southeast. Like I live near Cambridge.
Okay, all right. Cause you sound. Do you know who the band Bring Me the Horizon is?
No, I don't.
No, they're from right around South. Whoa. All right, hold on. I almost said South Bridgestone. One, that's not a place, and two, that's not a place. They're from Southern Britain. They're a post-hardcore, metalcore, big screamy band.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's not really my kind of music. That's probably why I haven't heard of them.
Yeah, you're fine. They had big lawsuits in Britain a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
They had one where their lead singer got charged with peeing on somebody on stage.
Oh, come on.
What actually happened is he dumped water on this girl because he felt like it. It's a rock. He dumped water on her, and she's just like, "You peed on me, court." And he's like, "What?" It was their first American show, and they took him to court in America, and he's like, I poured a bottle of water. There's a video of me opening a bottle of water and pouring it, throwing it into the crowd, and then walking back towards Matt, my drummer.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And then they almost got banned from playing in Britain because of that lawsuit. Oh my god, it was just a long 6-7 months for them. They were like, it was fucking stupid.
That's bad, man.
But they're from there. They you sound almost damn near identical to the lead singer and his brother who works keyboard, I think.
Okay.
And they're from right around near Cambridge area too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I sound like I'm from a nice old suburban Ohio.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not great at identifying U.S. accents regionally.
Neither am I. I don't know. I only know of two, and it's Louisiana and then everywhere else.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, people from Louisiana are cool, but there was this guy. I was at RTX, and he was talking, and I just could not. I was like, I'm really sorry. I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, it's fine. I have a very thick accent. I'm like, I think it's just thick. I don't think there's anything under there. It's that Cajun. It's that Cajun accent. It's like half.
Yeah,
French,
of course.
Half French, half American.
Yeah.
All Louisiana.
All Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, God. But on to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Besides all that, games. We both agree games can be 100% a very awesome, very cool art form.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
There's even games like I know Devil May Cry 4. Besides the people doing all the art for it, they had a lot of in-house bands make the music for it too.
Yep.
A lot of the music made for DMC4 was in-house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really good self-expression, and anybody can games like Panuma or Numa.
Mm-hmm.
That was very expressive, kind of a different take on games.
Yeah.
It's just my argument lies in the fact of if you're going to market the game and kind of not update, not make sure with Madden and stuff they make new games every year with a new roster because the teams change, but that's a forced change because you can't just be Ben Roethlisberger from the Steelers retires, but in Madden 2020 he's still in there. No.
It's 56.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
No, I completely agree with you, and the art form comes from so many different areas as well. We've got such a strong sort of roster of narrative games coming out these days, especially the ones that are coming out in episodic forms.
Yeah,
you know,
Life is Strange and stuff like that.
Life is Strange, to a point, the Telltale series, although they're kind of very much based on like pop culture anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a re-expression of already existing artwork. But definitely, like Life is Strange, for instance, is a very strong one that popped in my head as, you know, that evoked some very strong emotional responses in people who played the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much empathizing with the main characters and being affected by what was going on in the game. I did some reading about video games as art in preparation for this, and I came across this guy called Roger Ebert, who was like a film critic.
Yeah, I know him.
He died in 2013.
Yeah.
But he's like on record several times in his late life talking about how video games in absolutely no way can be considered an art form, you know?
Yeah.
And
Mr. Ebert wasn't the best guy to talk to about anything.
It's one way of putting it.
He was very particular. He had he was that kind of film critic that that looks for certain things that he wants to see himself, as if the screenwriters and directors and producers were like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Well, here's what I want," but they don't ask him, and so he feels a genuine personal anger towards that.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of way he critiqued, which is fine. Critique however you want.
Yeah.
But don't expect everyone to take you seriously just because you're being all pissy about it.
Yeah, there's this sentence in one of his articles that he said where he says, "For most gamers, video games represent a loss of those precious hours we have available to make ourselves more cultured, civilized, and empathetic." Yeah. Okay, yeah, don't mince your word, man.
Yeah, he's very. I mean, he said that the first Alien movie was going to tank.
Oh yeah.
And I was sitting here thinking even from a 1987 perspective, when it's only been out for 7 years, like it fucking killed it.
Yeah.
And hell, its special effects are still good today.
Yeah. There's this interesting comment made actually that somebody said that an obvious difference between art and games is that you can win a game. It has rules, points, objectives, and an outcome.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I guess up to a point that kind of is true and used to be more so. But when you do look at games like Life is Strange, and also it made me think of like the story missions from Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
There was actually not really much winning and losing. It was all about the narrative.
Yeah.
You know? It was about experiencing what that person was experiencing.
It's really cool because because I'm a film buff as well, because I'm a video editor first.
Okay.
But we saw a big surge like that because we've just had all those superhero movies come out.
Yeah.
And they've used a different type of directing called it's a really crazy name. It's called directive, where where directive states basically instead of the director being a Steven Spielberg and telling you have to do this way and that's it. They write a screenplay the way Quentin Tarantino does, where he gives you choices. He literally gives the characters, like, here's your script, and here's 3 other scripts with almost the same things, except itty-bitty little choices you can make. Pick which one you like best, and don't tell the other character. Because then that makes a lot of the scenes in, like, Pulp Fiction, The Hateful Eight, Django Unchained, were very, like, you could just see the scenes were very genuine because the person acting was caught off guard.
Yeah.
Because they're not told. Like, he gave Leonardo DiCaprio different choices for each different scene, and Leonardo just picked which one he liked the most for Django Unchained.
Yeah.
And that's why you can see some of the characters are thrown back. They're like, okay, all right, let's work, let's go.
Yeah. But then you get that brilliant moment of where an actor is not acting, he is reacting.
Yes.
And that is when film as an art form is at its most honest and its most raw.
Yeah, and if you talk to any film student in American universities, they're the most pompous bastards on the planet. I don't know if it's everywhere for everywhere. I know there are better ones, but at the college I went to for a little bit, Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I was in something called visual communication technology,
Yeah.
which you work on web design and video editing and photo editing, and you do video production and stuff like that. For some reason, film students thought we were the bane of their existence. They were like, "You don't understand film as it's supposed to be," and I'm like, "Fuck off." It's just, it's like an unprovoked amount of hate, and you're like, I didn't even touch you. Like, I get it. Go away. They're just very,
They're very protective of their art form.
yeah. And again, some of the film students have made monstrously good films. I mean, uh, um, I can't think of it. The guy who wrote the Shia LaBeouf song. Have you heard it?
The Shia LaBeouf song.
Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
No.
No? Okay. Well, whenever you get a chance, look that up. It's by the guy who wrote the song and then did the video for it, is an actual film student who makes literal, like, art form films. And they're really cool. And they take a lot of into account, and they're a challenging perspective. They challenge the form kind of thing. The way art does. Always keeps the form changing, ever moving. And he moves with it.
Right.
And it was really cool because he actually even did a video where he did like certain accents with just himself. But what was actually happening is he had hired like 16 different voice actors who could do those accents to do those off camera, and he matched his lips to the words correctly.
Right.
And did the song as if it was just him doing it. And it was perfect. It was perfectly built, and it was really good. But he showed it took a lot of work and took a lot of effort, but it made this really cool this art form project that made its way onto YouTube, and everyone was mad that he faked it, and he's like, "I just showed you I could fake it."
Yeah,
like,
that is the art form.
I just showed you I could do it, so I did it.
Yeah.
I challenged the form. I challenged my own form. It's really cool. He's I forget, it's like Robert something is his name. If you want to take any inspiration from film, he's a good place to start, and you can go from him and find a lot of different other good film people and learn a lot about the film world just through that.
That's really cool.
But in games like, that's how my brain works. I'll get off the topic and then it'll just jump right back.
That's fine.
I'm very ADD. But I was playing through, I played through 2 games recently that were so narrative into the point. That's my point. The reason why I brought up the directing. Because a lot of games are taking a directive standpoint. Even Super Mario Galaxy is considered a directive game, to kind of give an example.
Okay.
It's because it follows a storyline narrative that also allows choice. Because there is a full-on storyline in Mario Galaxy, but you can go off topic and go and do side missions and get more power stars. You don't have to, but you can.
Yeah, I understand.
It's kind of like a polished version of the Mario 64 formula.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas Breath of the Wild is very non-directive. There is a story, but you can literally throw up a middle finger, or it's 2 fingers, first and index, right?
It can be both.
Okay, it can be both. All right, I'm just making sure. I'm making sure I'm a cultured human being.
Well, of course.
As Mr. Egbert told me I should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Cultural and empathetic.
Yeah. Empathetic, not apathetic. Calm down.
Not just pathetic. I got halfway there and couldn't quite make the rest.
Yeah. But games like Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, and stuff are very non-directive because there's a story, and you could be like, I'll get it later, and just go do your own thing, and it doesn't. The time doesn't change. Like, there a lot of, I think, not Elder Scrolls, but Bethesda was thinking of making a Elder Scrolls game that was time sensitive, like if you didn't do something with a certain time, shit hit the fan. And then
that would ruin it for me.
everybody was like, "That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard."
Yeah,
And
why
they were
break
like,
the formula?
"Yeah." They're like, "All right, that's fair."
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm a huge fan of you know, being able to do whatever you want in a game.
yeah,
Like, I personally don't play a huge amount of really strict narrative games. I just get bored too quickly.
it's just they don't. A lot of the narrative games that come out, unlike Life is Strange, don't keep me engaged. They
Mm.
don't have a like because as far as I remember, I've only played 2 episodes of Life is Strange. So, but as far as I remember, it keeps you guessing. It keeps you being
Mm.
like, oh, what's the next part of the story? What's the next part of the story? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas some narrative games I've played have been like, oh, here's this cliche thing that have been done literally all the time, and you're like, I wonder what's gonna happen. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, is he
It's
the
funny.
killer? He's the killer? Didn't see that one coming. Holy shit.
I, I bought a few months ago. Could be as long ago as the Winter Sale, to be honest. But I bought the Batman Telltale series.
Yeah.
I thought I'll give this a go, and I guess I misunderstood how it worked because I hadn't played any of the Telltale stuff before. So I was playing through, like, literally I played the first, like, 10 minutes, and I was playing it through, and I was, hitting the keys when it said to hit the keys and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're like, okay,
And
when's the gameplay start?
Yeah, and I was under the impression that there were choices you could make to affect the outcome.
No.
So it gets to the end of, like, the first prologue or the first chapter or whatever it is, like the first scene, and Batman throws Catwoman off the edge of a building. And you slide down, and then you have to push a button to, like, grab her, like hit E to grab her or something.
Yeah.
And my brain went, "Oh, does it change the story if I just let her die?" So I just let her fall, but all it does is make you start again.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I was hoping it was going to give me some interesting twist in the story here."
Be like, Batman doesn't kill until today.
Yeah, exactly. I was most disappointed, and I never played it again.
A lot of the Telltale games are very Walking Dead comic book where you're literally going through you're playing the comics. Basically,
Yeah.
that's all you're just playing a comic.
Although that kind of feeds into our topic quite nicely for tonight, because actually the Telltale games have just such a beautiful visual art to them.
Yes, they're gorgeous.
Like, okay, yeah, all right, you're telling me exactly what I have to do, and I get very little choice in this, but I'm going to enjoy just watching it happen.
Yeah,
because it's really pretty.
Which, I played 2 different narrative games. One was called, do you care about spoilers for these narrative games?
No, I won't play any of them, really.
Nah, I don't give a shit. Go ahead.
If I do, I don't really care if they're spoiled for me anyway.
I'm liking the honesty. I like that. It's better than being like, oh, I'll just be nice and say, sure, go ahead. Instead, no. Like, what? But one of them, the first one I played was called Gone Home. And
Okay.
I got these games for free on the Xbox Live Store for gold membership, some bullshit or whatever. And it was really cool because basically you go home, you're home from a trip in Europe, your character is, and you get home and nobody's home and the front door's locked. And the note on the front of the door says, like, basically your sister left, don't worry where your sister writes you a note that says, don't worry where I've gone, don't ask where I've gone, don't come looking for me, just tell mom and dad I love them, and it says, from Sam, your sister. And so you're like, oh shit, my sister is gone, and then you go and get, like, the key, open up the door, walk through, and it's like, it's oddly super scary, because they keep talking about all this haunted stuff. And
Right.
you're basically living through, you've been gone a year, and your sister's turning from 16 to 17. And so in that, it's such an emotional year especially for this girl who's just moved to a new place, and she's starting to learn that she's not into boys, she's into girls. and she
Right.
finds this girl that she really likes, and like I'm rooting for your sister. Her name is Sam. I'm like, yeah, Sam, get that pussy. I guess like, but like I felt myself really connecting with this character I've literally never met. I do not
Mm.
meet you don't meet Sam at all in the entire game, but
Oh my goodness.
I'm connecting with this just because they give you these little tidbits. They give you little diary hints, little notes where like
Hmm.
they share music, they share stories, and then the girl she's into, Lenny, has to
Hmm.
go off to war. She's getting dispatched to boot camp, and
Right.
it's very sad. And you notice that, and then right nearing the end, you're like, oh no, her her girlfriend's going to boot camp. She's gonna be gone without contact for like 6 to 10 weeks, and you'll have no contact, and the attic is closed shut, and you're like, is Sam dead? Did my sister kill herself? Like that's what you're thinking the whole time, and then you're going through this kind of very terrifying looking house. It's got all these secret passages. You get all the way through it. You get up, and you find your sister is nowhere in the entire attic, but you find a booklet that she said that you find her last diary entry. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the ending of this because it's that good. It's really a
Yeah.
really good narrative. It's pretty. It's good. It's all first person, so you don't
Okay.
see any other characters except like little pictures here and there.
Oh wow.
And it basically says that Lenny didn't want to go off to war. She backed out, and she's in some town. She's in like Salem or whatever, and she's like, she calls your sister Sam to come pick her up, and they'll just go driving till they find a place to live. And
Fair enough.
that's what your sister did. She just bounced. She's like, I'm out. And the main reason she bounced is because she told her parents, I think I'm a lesbian, and they were like, this is just a phase. You'll grow out of it. And she's like, can't grow out of a phase if I'm already in the phase, and it's never changing.
Yeah. True.
And that was called Gone Home, and it was only like 2 hours long, 2 3 hours long. It's a really
Yeah.
it's basically a puzzle game. The puzzles aren't hard. They're
I
just
suck
like,
at puzzle games, man.
so do I. Fine.
Oh,
I
I
got
get so annoyed.
I played Professor Layton's game, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Pokemon again. Fuck it. Like,
Yeah, I understand that. Fire beats this one. Fire beats grass. I was gonna say
fire
fire
beats
beats
grass.
water. I
Grass
was gonna
beats
say
water.
fire beats. I was gonna say fire beats water, and then thought, oh no, that's dumb.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just make up our own rules. Let's go. But the puzzles aren't hard. They're just like it's just a couple of them are like frustrating, but once you sit down and you like find the result, you're like, I'm an idiot. I'm just stupid. And that was how I felt halfway through most of the game because they were easy puzzles. I'm just an
Mm.
idiot. And the other one I played was called Oxenfree, and this one was fucked up. I'm sorry, but that's the best way I could describe that.
Fair enough.
Because you go to this island with a bunch of your high school buddies, and your new stepbrother, because your brother passed away from something, and then your parents divorced, and your mom got a new husband, and with new husband, you got discount brother, and he's all grown up just for you. They're like both 18, so there's this weird. They've never met each other till now. Well, like never hung out. So there's this weird part where they're like getting to like each other, but they're not allowed to because they're step siblings. And I'm like, that's not really fair because you literally didn't know each other till like a month ago.
Right.
I don't think it matters. You're not literally family. Just your parents are banging, whatever. So like, that was just
Crazy.
that was like a nervous laugh of like I'll just laugh because he's waiting. So but you go through it and this island's like haunted as hell, and you just keep going through all this haunted stuff. But you finally get to the end of it, and you get an ultimatum. You can either A, sacrifice yourself, the character, to save all your friends, so that they can live their
Right.
lives without you,
Yeah.
or B, you can live your life and give up 2 of your friends, one of them being this stepbrother you've just got.
Cool.
And so, throughout
A
the whole
nice
game,
choice.
yeah, throughout the whole game, you're getting these rewinds, like time is being rewound, and you're going through the same things over and over again.
Right.
And then you finally get on this, at the very end, you get to the boat. You're on a boat, by the way.
Oh, okay. Just to mix it up.
Yeah, just to go for it. Well, you took a boat to this island, and then you're on a different boat leaving the island. And so your characters are talking about all the stuff that's going on, and all these choices that you make. You bring your brother back to life, so he's alive now, in this in this timeline you're in, and you're like, this is really cool. And then right at the very end, you hear the sound as if it was rewinding, and your character goes to the beginning of the night again.
Oh.
And it's like a Doctor Who episode that screws with your head. Hey everybody, my name is Dane, and this is the break for the podcast that you're listening to. It's Ramble On with Tom Like a Fox Productions. This is just a short little break because I don't have a sponsor. If anyone wants to sponsor me, though, I'm down for it. Basically, I'm just going to tell you about what's going on with this podcast. It's an old podcast that I've done previously, but I will give you, like, this is basically explaining what it was and what went on. It was an old video podcast. I'm gonna put up a couple of I'll kind of show you, like, put videos in the description, because like I said in the podcast, this will go on SoundCloud, and it'll also be going on YouTube, and I'll try to get it on iTunes and maybe even Google Play if I can. That all depends if I can do it. Besides that, there's really not a lot I'm gonna talk about. I just want you to hopefully enjoy it, enjoy the podcast. I had fun recording it. I hope Tom did as well. And check out Tom Like a Fox Productions on YouTube. He's actually really cool. He's got gameplay. He's also got some pretty good educational videos on there to kind of help you if you're having an issue with some YouTube stuff or some computer stuff. He's a good guy to talk to for it. Besides that, that's really it. If anyone wants to sponsor me, that'd be awesome. Also, new video is going to be coming out soon, so that'll be great. Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Wow.
It's
That's just messed up.
it's a very, 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 very good narrative. I think it was screwed up as hell. Why? Hold on, I'm gonna cut this out. But why does CB need 5 volunteers that have webcams?
Oh.
I don't know. Look, I'm gonna keep my shirt on just so he knows that.
Mine's already off, dude.
I gotta go to work. Like, I have to also work today, so I'm not allowed to, or else I'd be like naked. A friend of mine just moved into his new apartment here in PG too, and
right.
He was like, you can kind of tell where I've like given up on my day by where my pants are. And he's like, if my pants are in my bedroom, I got pretty far. If my pants are in the computer room, okay, yeah. If my pants are like in the hallway, eh. And then I came in one day, his pants were like literally right beside the door, and I'm like, what happened that day? He's like, I had 2 exams, and I'm like, I get it. Like, gave up as I got inside. They weren't even all the way on when I stepped in my door.
Oh man.
I get it though. I get it. It's the worst. But those are games that are very good at explaining a narrative, or like a directive narrative, a directive story. Whereas, like, I guess, okay, so the newest NBA 2K15 and 16, or 2K16 and 17, were very, no, 17 and 18. I don't know. One of the bigger numbers. There's like a My Careers option where you can
Right.
make your own character and kind of go through this and be this character.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like a storyline, but it's just like you're a basketball player who made it. Cool, good for you. You get $3 million a year to play like 45 games, you bastard. I would love that kind of job.
Yeah, I played FIFA 17 for a little bit. I did the same thing. I created my own character, started my own career.
Yeah.
And played in the mode where you only play your character in a match. So you don't play all. So the rest of the team is all controlled by the AI.
Was the AI any good?
Yeah, it was all right, but I wasn't very good at all because I was
all
so brand new
was
to the
go
game.
off sides. That was it.
Oh, I do a lot of that.
They just kicked the ball in the crowd for whatever reason.
The problem is, what ends up happening is if you don't do very well, like I did pretty badly in my first couple of matches, then I just had to skip like 5 matches because they wouldn't select me for the team, and then they just loaned me out to another team in like the really crappy low leagues.
Oh my god!
Like, oh man,
this is not real.
This is not good for my self-esteem.
Hey, I went to a Columbus Crew game here in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And we went there, and I don't know much about football/soccer at all.
Right.
Like I don't know the rules, and so my mom and I were both there. We didn't know much about the rules. All I did know was that I don't think the players knew the rules either, because it was just a shit show. Like,
wow.
I mean, throughout the whole 3-hour game, I know most soccer matches are pretty low scoring, but like it wasn't until like 2/3 of the way through the game did they even get anything close to the goal. And so I was like, all right, maybe you guys, do you need to like take a break? Like,
go back to the drawing board.
Did you just screw up too much? Do you know how to play soccer? Are we sure you know what you're doing? It was just like, even people in the crowd were like, do we cheer? Do we, like, and then there were a lot of people who were from different countries all over the world, you know, because football's big everywhere. And the only place that doesn't get its rules is right here in the USA. Like, I'll talk to people who are from all over the world. They know soccer/football. They know it all. And then over here, I'm like, there's a ball, and there's feet, and you can't use your hands unless you're the goalie. And he gets special gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all I know. I'm trying to learn more, but like at the time, that's literally all I knew. And we're just watching, and they look like they're just like kind of tapping the ball around. They're not even dribbling. They're just kind of like just knocking it around, having a good old time. Just being like, get kicked. Just like they didn't give a shit. They didn't give any shit about anything going on. When you were playing lazily, one guy was just smoking weed, running around, and it just looked like everyone was like, I didn't want to get up today, but I get paid for this, so okay.
Yeah.
I gotta go kick a ball for 3 hours. Best job would be to be a bench warmer the whole time. Be paid.
Oh yeah,
to
for
sit
sure.
And watch a sports game in the best seat in the house. You just like, this is really fun. This is cool.
I could so do that.
I would get paid for that in a heartbeat. You gotta go to practice, which sucks, but like, you stay in shape, and then you get to sit and watch sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just don't root for the wrong team.
Yeah. Be careful which side of the stand you're on before you start cheering.
You sit down, and you're like, why is everyone wearing purple, and I'm wearing green? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Now we're in trouble.
All right, I'll go over here. No, that's a knife. Okay, that's a knife. We're very particular about our sports in the USA, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't. I was talking to somebody, and they're like, who do you like in basketball? And I was like, I like the Cavaliers sometimes. or the Heat, the Miami Heat, and they're like, "Well, I don't like the Heat," and I'm like, "Good for you." Like,
Does that mean
Jesus.
we can't be friends?
Like, can I not talk to you anymore? The worst is when I say I'm a Browns fan for American football. They're like, "How can you be a Browns fan?" And I'm like, "Cause I can. That's how." It's not like there's a penalty. I don't get Urban Meyer from the Ohio State football team coming up being like, "Look, if you be a Browns fan, you got to pay me $35 every week." What? Why? When that become a rule? It's just that's how we talk about it, and I just don't get it.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not. I don't get hyped about sports. The only time I get super into sports is I will take 2 weeks vacation and watch every minute of the Olympics.
the Olympics are cool, but the Olympics are
I don't
like,
I don't care what the sport is. I will watch from morning till night every event that I can.
I mean, you gotta represent your country. You gotta support your country. You know, gotta support who's going on. Or if you're just watching it for like, yeah, people,
Yeah, people. Yeah,
go
yeah.
people.
It's like Philip DeFranco with his sports shirt.
Oh yeah,
Just like yay sports.
yeah, sports ball.
Sports ball, exactly.
If you get the ball through the prongs, it's a double header.
When do they start playing Quidditch?
I don't know. That's the sport I like. That's the one I want.
Yeah, but not flying broomsticks. It's more fun if it's just like running around with them between
Yeah, my old roommate played Quidditch,
you.
and I found it funny because he's so thin. He's such a thin dude, and I'm just like I watched him once, and I'm like, you're as thin as the broomstick, so it's just like a broomstick riding a broomstick, so it just looks odd because he is skinny. Well, I think he's
Yeah.
gained a little weight now, but like not much. Whereas I'm big. I'm not big. I'm a short motherfucker. But like, I'm so tiny. I'm 5'4". I'm tiny.
Oh wow, that is small.
I am a short man with a lot of
Wow,
hair.
a lot of hair.
I have hair. My hair right now is longer than my shoulder.
Oh wow.
It's about almost 3 inches from my shoulder.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that in one of your videos from a while back.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm growing it out again. Not again. I mean, I was growing it out then. I can't remember the longest that my hair is in one of the videos. I can't remember what video it is, but it's a little. It's about 2 or 3 inches shorter than it is right now.
Right.
The last face video I did that had my hair down was a while back. I'm editing a video right now my hair's down and it's a lot longer, but I don't know.
Is that your big master project?
Yes, it is my big master project.
I'm looking forward to that.
Which is the I'm not gonna. Yeah, I can say what it is. It's the history of Pokemon and Game Freak.
Oh, awesome!
It had a 12-page script that I still
Wow.
It was a long writing process.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, man.
And I used about a little over half the script. I didn't use part of the script on it at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Sometimes you pick the best bits.
Yeah, and it's being fun to edit, but it's just it's right now all face cam, and then I'm gonna go back in and get all the assets in the video and put them all and make it look all pretty, and then like put a big turd on the screen or something. I don't know. Just do something childish.
And it's basically my favorite topic in the world, so
that's good because it's a crazy. To me, it's a crazy story. Not as crazy as like the story of the DeLorean, which if you know that story, you, Tom, or viewers, listeners, whatever you are,
people in general,
people who are enjoying the media going through their ear holes. The story of DeLorean. If you haven't seen it, there's a good video by Donut Media called up to speed on the DeLorean, it is a wicked story.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
It's very cool. It's only about 8-9 minutes, so
Mhm.
it's not a long video. That whole series on Up to Speed is about like different stuff about cars.
Mhm.
Again, DeLorean still by far is the most crazy. My favorite though is the Mazda one
Mhm.
because it's the Mazda Miata, or as it's called in everywhere in the world besides the United States, because apparently we get specific rights to change the name. It's the Mazda MX-5.
MX-5, yeah,
Yeah.
which is like the most popular soft top ever in history.
Yes. And it was sold. Fun fact: it was sold in both a hard and soft top.
Ah, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, the Duo 101. And I made a joke about it in this. I'm trying to find it because it's a funny joke. Oh yeah, it was 1990. It was about 1998, and it was cool because Pokemon came out in '96, and then they re-released it in 1998. But I said, well, not to worry because in 2 years, or in 1998, Japan was going to release my favorite model of the Mazda MX-5. Oh yeah, and Pokemon Blue came out too.
Yeah.
Because the 99 Miata is my favorite.
Mm.
I want one, a soft top 99 Miata, or
Yeah, they are pretty cars.
yeah, or a Mazda Speed MX-5 from 2010, I think, which is a
I liked when they remodeled it in about '05.
yeah. Those also the really good facelift came up too, and that one was good.
Mm.
And the newest one they have is 220 pounds lighter, the
Yeah.
2017 Mazda Miata.
Mhm.
It's nice. It's nice. It's the first time it's being sold with both manual and automatic, which makes
Oh,
me a
okay.
little upset because if I'm driving a Miata, it's gonna have to be manual because if it's an automatic, it's gonna get redlined so fast.
Oh, yeah. You can't drive a car like that automatic. It's just stupid.
Like my Honda's an automatic, but that's okay, because
Yeah. Well, my drive an automatic Ford Focus.
yeah, it's fine. But like if I got like a Ford Taurus SHO or like a Miata or something, I wanna feel every ounce of torque that engine kicks out when it's in fifth gear or whatever. Especially the
Mm.
especially the SHO because that's a big bulky monster of a car.
Yeah.
Um, to we're gonna I meant to take the break in the middle there, so I'll just break it in the middle off so I can explain that this is
Yeah. You can
yeah.
you can edit in a separate bit of audio for
Yeah.
that.
But to wrap up, because we're at 51 minutes right now.
Cool.
To wrap up, we'll kind of explain the points, all the points that we hit, and we only touched on one topic, which was really good. We only had one topic in mind the whole time. Only talked about one
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, we
And
didn't digress at all, man.
oh god, which I don't have ADD. No one could tell that, but um, it's just the games is an art form. Oh, I did have a story that I wanted to. It's very quick. It's not like a long story, but I was in the art gallery at BGSU, the university I went to, and they had this about like inciting a response. There was this piece of art that was just it was just a statue, just this like sculpture that was standing there, and for some reason it made me feel wrong. Like
Okay.
I could not look to anyone and say, "Here's how I feel." Like
Wow.
to give an example of explaining how you feel, like you know when someone has like plastic wrap and their hands are a little wet or sweaty and the noise it makes,
Yeah.
that breaks me down. I cannot deal with that noise.
Well, okay.
I will stop. I was at work one day and someone did that and I just like really seized up and I'm just standing in the corner. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Ah."
Just
No.
a deep breathing.
I don't know why, but it just makes me go like, all right, I need to leave. It's the feeling of I need to leave here because it is hurting my my ears and my face.
Yeah.
But I looked at this sculpture and I legitimately could only say I feel wrong. I don't feel right. I feel wrong. And it was a sculpture of a woman who looked as if she was in distress during the time when they were trying to round up slaves in the North. That was what it was representing. And so I'm like, is it because I'm white? Is that why I feel wrong? That could be a reason. Because, I am pale as paper, but, I just felt wrong about a lot of things.
Wow.
The second I looked away, I was fine, but I looked at it and I'm like, I don't feel right. I feel incorrect. Like someone took my stomach and my liver and swapped them. And just went like, here, feel that. And I'm like, I can't, I'm dead, but that's not the point.
Yeah. Crazy.
It was weird. But I like games that bring that out of me, that make me, because like, a friend of mine was telling me that he doesn't like games that make him uncomfortable. And I'm like, I love that. I love when a game makes me feel uncomfortable. Like if you're not supposed to be uncomfortable during that time, then yeah, I get it. Like if it's just the game's doing something, like you're driving and you're like, oh, this is wrong. Yeah, it's a little weird. But if it's like a cutscene, or if it's like it's like a mission that should make you feel weird or uncomfortable, yeah, that should happen. I know the one good one is in Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty, when you had to do the American terrorist scene.
The airport thing.
Yeah, you mow down all the people at the airport. That made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it should have for starters. Probably should have. Because you're playing the point of a soldier who's infiltrating this, and you have to mow down these people.
Yeah.
And in that point, those games like Modern Warfare 2, they challenge the form. They break a boundary.
Yeah.
But this is gonna sound so hipster. But when you stay on the form and you stay mainstream and you don't try to challenge the form, you can't akin that to just art anymore. It's like if something happens in the game, it's just the same thing over and over again. It'd be as if Pablo Picasso painted the same painting 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. First time it's art. Second time it's a copy. Third time it's annoying. Fourth time you're like, bro, listen. You've done this 3 other times. I get it.
Yeah.
You like this painting.
Yeah. Pushing boundaries is important in art, for sure.
Example I use with my with a friend of mine was I'm not saying their names because they have not given me clearance to, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I use Pokemon Black and White. They challenged a form of all before then, which now it's going to seem weird because of Kalos, but before then, Gens 1 through 4, there was no huge cities. There was like big cities, but there wasn't anything monstrous. There wasn't anything like New York.
Yeah.
You didn't have tramways and stuff like that, and that in Gen 5 you have the subway, the battle subway. You have these big skyscrapers and everything.
Yeah.
And you have weirdly designed Pokemon, which to me made perfect sense. Because if you think about it, you're in a city. Pokemon like Grimer and Muk, so like Trubbish, Garbodor, and like Magneton, Magnemite, Magnezone. Pokemon also like what? Who? Dang it! Oh God! Come on, Dane. This is literally your favorite thing.
You can do it. You can do it, brother. You can do it.
Muk. There we go. That's what
Muk.
I couldn't think of Muk. Muk and Grimer and stuff like that would evolve in a city because, sewage would do that because the theory of Pokemon evolve as animals do to adapt to their surroundings only on a heightened level because obviously we know Pokemon evolution is faster than main world Darwin evolution because literally level up, evolve, level up, evolve.
Yeah.
So like if you base the terrain, so like Charmander is a lizard, you'd think it'd be in a in a big, like, desert. So of
Yeah.
course it would evolve to have wings, so it could fly great distances really fast. It also is
Mhm.
fire, so it can heat itself. It's cold blooded.
Yeah.
Squirtle is a turtle, and it needs to protect itself from predators, so it has that hard shell. It's got the guns as Blastoise, and it can water itself because it's water type. And then
Yeah.
Bulbasaur, and it's very simple. Like if you've read about anything about evolution, Darwin or otherwise, it everything makes a lot of sense. And then I would talk to a ton of people who would just take a big old dump on Gen 5, just like a big old you just ate 3 Chipotle burritos dump on on Gen 5, and I was always felt so bad because I'm like they just if you just think about it, yeah, vanillish and vanillite and stuff like that, yeah, they look weird, but what if it's from city pollution that causes radioactivity cause these Pokemon to evolve differently?
Yeah. Sure.
And whenever I say that, people are like, "What?" Like it happens in real life. It's happened in actual Chernobyl.
Mm.
Like there are wolves and snakes and stuff that live right in the Chernobyl resort that
Mm.
look different because they adapted to the radiation.
Yeah.
Over 20 or so years, they adapted to live longer. They don't live as long as non-radioactive wolves, but
Yeah.
they live longer than their moms and dads.
Yeah. Of course.
Because they evolved to a point to deal with it, and that's one of the things I really really enjoyed about Gen 5 is it took that it to me took that into account, and it was like here's a world that's not normal. Like this is such a big jump from Sinnoh, even just Sinnoh to Unova, just one generation over. It was an entirely different perspective,
Yeah.
and it was to me it was one of the coolest. Gen 5 isn't my favorite generation, but it's up there. It's like top 3 because it also made me feel really good that throughout the whole main storyline, I couldn't catch any old Pokemon. It was all new stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't force me, but it made me kind of take a different approach because like with Gen 6, X and Y, I could pick out the team I wanted from all 792 Pokemon or however much we had at the time. But with Gen 5, I didn't know anything about these Pokemon, so I had to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
It felt like the first time you played through the first Pokemon game. Like, I don't know what any of the shits do. What do they do?
Mhm.
What does fire do? Fire probably hurts grass. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Makes
And,
sense.
and it was fun for me. And that's a way that I think the Pokemon franchise, for the first time, really challenged its own form. And then they did it
Yeah.
again with Sun and Moon in a big way.
Yeah.
And Sun and Moon were fun. Did you play them?
No, I watched some videos on them, but no, I didn't play
Holy
them.
shit, that tutorial was long. Oh, it was 1 hour of just actual tutorial.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm like, they need a button in Pokemon to just be like, I've played this already. Like, trust me,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yep,
But
for
like,
sure.
I just think that's one thing they've never coded in. They need to code. They also need to finally make one where I could be a bad guy. Because holy hell.
Yeah.
I hate being the good. Like, I love being the good guy sometimes.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to just tell my rival to eat a fat dick. I just want to do that just once.
Mhm.
Like, just hold up a sign that just says F and then U really big right after you win. Like, the first battle. Like, don't try me. Don't try me. I'll win. Again. You're going to train. You come back level 9. I'm level 32. Eat a fat dick. Just you gotta be vulgar to be a bad guy, apparently. In my head.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's the only way you can be bad. Just be extremely, extremely rated R. Oh.
All right.
I also don't mean to make you uncomfortable if I do, Tom. Sorry.
Oh, I'm not uncomfortable about anything, man. No, not at all.
All right. Do you have any final points you want to say on the subject?
I think we've pretty much covered it. I mean, it's important to remember that, you know, all video games really are an expression of someone's creativity.
Yeah.
So there are aspects of art in all video games for sure.
Just using the excuse it's art to counteract a maybe let's say something like the Long Dark. They took a really long hiatus and just kind of added little itty bitty patches to their game. It didn't really make too many big updates. That makes me a little upset. I bought the game on Steam as an alpha almost 3-4 years ago, and I'm still not seeing much. Whereas the Forest and Subnautica both have grown exponentially. You just kind of stagnated. The Long Dark.
Yeah.
Even Stranded Deep did really well. It's just they're
yeah.
It's just not getting to where I want it to be, but that's fine. Again, I get making a game ain't easy.
No, for sure.
Like making a good game is difficult. Even making a decent game can be hard if you got Richard Ebert critiquing you.
Yeah, for sure. Gotta ignore him. Ignore the haters.
Yeah, well, it's pretty easy to ignore someone who is not with us anymore.
Well, that's true. That's true.
he's just up in heaven. Like, I just wish we had a blog up here.
This cloud is not fluffy enough.
It's not going to the cloud. It's going to that cloud.
Okay, man.
All right. Well, it's like 10 o'clock where you're at right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I did my math. I made sure to learn that you're 5 hours ahead of me, so I know.
You learn your time zones.
Well, yeah, especially if you have friends or colleagues who are, in different parts of the world, especially like you and Curry Pants, and like and Mr. G, because he's over near
he's he's actually like 2 hours further on from me.
Okay.
So for him, it's like midnight now.
Oh dang. Yeah, it's 5 p.m. where I'm at. It's like when we started up, you said tonight, and I'm just looking out like it's like dinner time for me. The sun's still out. I'm like, what?
Awesome.
Yeah, but this is if you ever want to come back on the podcast, we find one topic, and I'm happy you did research on it. Like that's really cool. Thank you.
No worries, man.
But usually the reason it's called Ramble On is because we ramble.
Yeah. We've definitely done that tonight.
Yeah. That's what it's for. It's literally just a hangout session. It's a hangout session podcast with a tiny topic.
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed it regardless.
Thank you. And I'm gonna be trying to do these every Wednesday. Doing this podcast. So I'm gonna do here soon. I think on one of the next ones I'm gonna do a jump in podcast where I'm just gonna open up a call and just invite a couple people and we're just gonna talk. And if you want to jump in and you're online, you see I'm on, just message me and be like, "Yo, can I come on?" And I'd be like, "Yeah."
All right, no worries, man.
All right, well, you have a good night, Tom, and a good rest.
All right.
For a couple hours.
Yeah, you enjoy the rest of your day, buddy.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Yeah, bye.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for working with me on this. It's been a good time. Had a lot of fun. If you're wondering, that was Tom Like a Fox Productions. It's Tom from Tom Like a Fox Productions on YouTube. Go ahead and check them out. These episodes will be going up for sure on YouTube and SoundCloud. I'm going to try and get it on iTunes, and if I do, if I could really please ask you guys to give me an iTunes review or anything. If you've been on my channel for a little bit, you know what the Ramble on podcast already is. Again, if you don't, I didn't explain it super well. Basically, this podcast just works on the principle of we find a topic and we talk about it. Usually, it's not that in depth because I'm not here to argue semantics or politics or anything like that with anybody. I'm just here to talk and be me and do what I can. So thank you guys so much for checking it out. Thank you guys so much for listening in and tuning in. This podcast was a little long. Hopefully, it'll be a little better. The next time I'll be able to keep track of the time a little better. And thank you so much again for coming out and listening. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.